Alrighty, back here on KPOO San Francisco 89.5 FM. That wasn't the lead-in music I was looking for, but I am joined finally by Sharon Corr of the Corrs. Are you there, Sharon?
Yeah, I am. Hi.
Hi, how are you doing?
Good, very, very good.
I know you're on the airplane or you just got off it in LAX, so I'm sure it's a little frustrating and all that. Thank you for joining us.
No, it's an absolute pleasure. Absolute pleasure.
Now, there's many ways to get a hold of Sharon if you'd like to purchase some of her music and find out about upcoming events. She's on tour right now, but if you go to SharonCorr.com or at Sharon_Corr, C-O-R-R, on Twitter, those are probably the best ways to get a hold of her. Very, very popular Celtic Irish group music. You've been making music for 20 years or so. Your group, the Corrs, is you, two of your sisters, and your brother. And right now, the four of you are on hiatus. Yes.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, and I'm just releasing my second solo record here in the States, and I'm on a world tour at the moment. So I have like a month's tour of the States, and I just got back from New Zealand, and I'm kind of all over the place. But it's good. It's good fun.
Your newest record it's called The Same Sun, and you're on the Same Sun tour right now. Your last solo record was Dream of You, which I have some songs I'm going to play from in just a little bit.
Great.
Tell me, what was it like growing up, in Ireland and becoming a very popular singer and violinist, and how did all that start for you?
Well, I mean, both my parents were musicians, and they had like regular day jobs, and then they kind of sang and played at the weekends, and their passion was music. So we were kind of brought up surrounded by music nonstop. My mother was learning new songs all the time, so grew up listening to like the Eagles and the Carpenters and Joni Mitchell and Simon and Garfunkel, and so the great tradition of sort of songwriting with great melodies and great harmonies. So I don't know, it was just like in the blood, it was there, it was going to happen. And it's just my passion. I absolutely adore it when I'm on stage, and I can't be happier. It's my favorite place in the world.
Well, that's probably how a lot of very popular musicians are as well. That's their place. That's their home. I've always thought there's three types of people. There's people who go to a concert and enjoy it from the audience perspective. There are the people who feel more comfortable on stage and performing, and then there's little people like me who like to be in the background, pretending I'm important, talking to artists and things like that.
Stop, Derek.
That's where I feel most comfortable
there. You guys very much, I can tell you.
Oh, man. So did you get along with your brothers and sisters? Because I have one sister, and I can't get along with her for an hour. How did you put together a band and perform for 16 years?
Well, that was kind of nuts, I have to say. I mean, let's say it was a touch and go at stages. I think we had a great respect for each other, which was incredibly important. And we had to sort of learn to ignore the sort of usual sort of family pecking order issues that go on. And we became quite really good diplomats. I think any of us could run for president at this stage, because we were very diplomatic in dealing with each other. But there were times when it erupted.
Well, also you guys got really popular probably when you were in your late teens, early 20s. Is that right?
Yeah.
So it's not like you were still children. I mean, you developed and matured and all that, and that's great that you learned how to speak with each other because, I've known my sister for 20 years and I can't get along with her. So it's good that you could finally figure that out.
It's kind of crazy. I mean, the thing is that I don't really believe in the blood is thicker than water thing. I think you have to work at any relationship. You know what I mean? It gives people a bit of a pass, and therefore I think they don't respect relationships too much when they do that. I think it's kind of really, really important to to respect each other and to be respected. You know what I mean? So I think you have to work at it.
Right. Now, you and your brother Jim started playing together first, and then your two sisters joined in after. Did anybody in the family, did one of you want to be a soccer player or, a space astronaut or something, and then they decided to join the band?
No, that really didn't happen. I know that my sister Andrea did want to, and Caroline probably did want to go to university, but it just kind of it took us on a different path, and I don't think they'd ever regretted not doing it. So, we just became a global success, so it was very much worth it.
Do you remember playing the United States for the first time?
Oh my goodness, that's a good question. First gig in the United States actually was for the American Ireland Fund, and that was in Boston.
Mm-hmm.
No, actually, that's wrong. Our first gig was actually at the John F. Kennedy Library, and we were invited over by Jean Kennedy Smith, and I remember Ted Kennedy was there as well.
Oh, wow,
so
the late Ted Kennedy.
That was quite a prestigious gig, and I remember because the audience had been, they'd been subjected to an awful lot of speeches before we got on stage, and quite a few of them needed, a bathroom break, shall we say.
Mm-hmm.
And they started to walk out when we got on stage, which really wasn't great.
Oh, no.
And Ted Kennedy stood up and told them all to sit down and have respect.
That's great.
So we ended up with a standing ovation.
I'm sure you did. You guys are a fantastic group. I also wanted to mention, we don't get to see it out here in the States, unfortunately, but are you currently still working on The Voice in Ireland?
I have been a coach in The Voice for the last 2 seasons, the first 2 seasons actually
Right.
in Ireland. This year I decided not to because I'm touring. So it just completely collided. The filming collided with my touring and the release of the album. But yeah, that's been a huge experience for me. It's been really wonderful.
I had a singer in here, an American singer from Los Angeles that was on the second season of the United States version of The Voice.
Yeah.
And she's a great singer, but she was telling us how it's pretty cutthroat on that show. I mean, she got kind of backstabbed by one of her coaches. Did you have to play?
Oh, no.
Yeah, it happens.
Really? Well, I mean, I think, I don't really think getting involved in something unless it's fair. Because I'm a musician, I have my own integrity as far as what I do, and one of the most valuable things you can have in this industry is help from fellow musicians.
Right.
So I took my job as coach very, very seriously, as in, trying to help the artist with, maybe confidence issues, because that can be the one thing that brings anybody down, no matter how good they are.
That's true.
If they have a confidence crisis, it's over. So those are the type of things that I really worked on. I wouldn't say anything like that happened on our show because I just, it's too important. And I think it holds itself above the other shows, as in it's genuinely about the voice. It's not about how you look because you can't see who you're picking. So basically you're picking it on the voice. And that was proven in the American show. I mean, I really enjoyed watching the American show, and it's actually the reason I did it in Ireland, because I thought, well, here's a game changer. This is a talent show that is genuinely looking for talent, So I'm sorry to hear that. That's a pity. She felt that happened to her in the show.
Well, she's still doing okay, and you're right though. That is one of the few reality entertainment shows that I actually really like. I watched a couple seasons of it. It's very interesting. It's much better than American Idol, I must say.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really like those other shows. They come across as a bit of a circus and really much more about the judges than about the talent, Mm-hmm. It seems to be a sort of a spectacle. So, yeah, I like that, you're able to, I mean, we have no script, so you basically, you're yourself on that show, so therefore you have the opportunity to be yourself, which is nice, and nobody's telling you what to say or to change things or to, push up ratings or that sort of thing.
Again, Sharon Corr is my guest here of the group The Corrs, very popular Irish group, Celtic folk music, Celtic pop, I would say, too. I'm going to play a couple of her songs in just a minute. She's playing at Yoshi's tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Go to yoshis.com. Pick up a pair of tickets for yourself. I'll have one pair to give away at the end of this call. Also, I wanted to mention you have a great philanthropic ideology. You do all kinds of work for other people. I saw a picture of you on Twitter. You're in between Bono of U2 and the late Nelson Mandela. That must have been a really boring conversation, I imagine.
It was, yeah. It's amazing the things that you have to do. It's like relentless. But, yeah, I mean, that's an absolute honor. I got to spend quite an amount of time with Nelson Mandela on a number of occasions. We played for him first when he was receiving an honorary doctorate in Galway, and it was amazing because he got up and he started dancing.
Oh, wow.
And it was like it was a seated thing and quite formal, and he just took to the floor, and they call it the Madiba jive, and he had so much sort of light in his face and his eyes and so much hope, and he's just a pretty amazing guy. And then we got to spend some private time with him on a game reserve in South Africa when we did the 46664 concert down there, and that was really, really a unique experience, and what a great man,
Absolutely.
Incredible man.
Very cool picture, by the way, I must say. Was it tough for you?
Yeah.
Was it tough for you to go solo? I mean, after working with your family for so long on so many projects, was it initially a challenge?
Yeah, it was a challenge, but I mean, that's a good thing. I mean, I wanted to achieve more from a musical point of view, and from myself, I wanted to find out what my journey was without the other three. Because obviously on the Corrs journey, we were greatly influencing each other, and then the Corrs almost became a thing outside of us, if you know what I mean. Mm-hmm. But for me, I've been writing songs since I was 6 years old, and I wanted to see where my songs would go without that influence, and where I would take them by myself. And what I really find coming into my stuff is, amazing influences like Dusty Springfield and sort of like the arrangements that Burke Bacharach would have done, and the Joni Mitchell type of vibe as well. I mean, because I really find that's the sort of heart of songwriting. If you can do it without, all this sort of overproduction that happens, then it can stand up as a great song, So for me, those were sort of, I set my sights kind of high, and I'm very happy with this record. I recorded it with Mitchell Froome in LA.
Oh wow!
And he's just my all-time favorite producer. I loved everything he does, and he serves each song, and he's a very, very musical producer, very organic producer. So it was a joy to make this album,
Absolutely, and it sounds fantastic. I was listening to a few songs earlier. One last question before I let you go. Who do you see, I mean, as a person of Ireland, who do you see in America that's just really overrated in the music industry and you would like to see maybe hit by a bus? Justin Bieber?
I would actually, Justin Bieber, no, I would put it kind of, well, actually, not slightly. I wouldn't want anybody hit by bus, really,
kidding.
Genuinely. I think the whole sort of, I didn't appreciate the Miley Cyrus thing.
Yeah.
I kind of thought she should let her talent speak for her rather than getting naked. For me, it just is such a, I have a 6-year-old daughter.
Right.
I don't want her to think that that's what she needs to do to be rated. And Miley is a lovely singer. She's had a really great career so far. And it seems like a very cynical move to me. I almost wanted to sort of, my reaction was a motherly reaction in a way. It was like, you don't need to do that, girl. You've got a great voice. Get out there and sing, So that's the type of thing that kind of frustrates me about the industry sometimes, when people are supposedly selling music, but actually they're not.
That's very well put. Very well put indeed. Yeah, I guess as a mother, it must hit you in a different way than it hits me. So I definitely see where you're coming from.
As a mother and a woman, because I take a lot of pride in what I can do, and I need that to stand for itself. It's very important in this world that stands. Women have been fighting for equality for too long now. For silly things like this to set us back. And I think that our talents should speak for us alone, and it doesn't need to be about something else.
Definitely. Well, I also think someone like that, I mean, there's many, many artists you can name that do that same kind of career path, but she's very young, and I imagine in a few years she'll mature and hopefully put that kind of stuff behind her.
No, I totally do, and I really wouldn't want to be negative about her in any way. I just think it was a bad move, and I think it was just a bad signal to send to very insufferable, young girls. I think it was just a negative message.
Well put. Well, Sharon, thank you so much for joining us. Sharon Corr of the Corrs. I've got your song here, It's Not a Dream, that I'm going to play for everybody. And I'm also going to play one of the famous songs that your whole band did. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a great show tomorrow night, and also good luck with the rest of your tour.
Oh, thanks a million, Derek. Okay.
All right. Talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.